Wi-Fi up there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are actually on our way to Montgomery County. We're very excited about it. I'm actually in the car. Lewis is driving so that we could speak with everyone today about women's rights. And we're very excited about it. And we are on Wi-Fi, so hopefully it will keep up with us. I need to put that up there on the dashboard. So thank you for joining us today. We're very excited, and it has been a whirlwind of a week. I will try to remember everywhere we've been, but since last Sunday, we have actually been to El Paso. We were supposed to go to Houston, and this is something I thought I'd never say, but Houston, we had to cancel because of snow, and that's just odd to say. But unfortunately, we're not able to make it to Houston. So we went up to Odessa, Amarillo, Lubbock. Then we went to Canton in East Texas. And then we went to, where did we go yesterday?
Walnut Springs.
Walnut Springs, yes. And so it has been a wonderful week. And Lewis and I got on the road early this morning, headed to Montgomery County, and we have another, I believe it's 9 straight days. So we are active and we are enjoying it. So I want to thank everyone who has logged on, and we'll be on for about an hour. And just know that even though we are traveling, if the Wi-Fi disconnects or anything, we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. Alrighty. I want to give a shout out to everyone who marched yesterday in the women's marches across Texas. I apologize I was not able to join y'all. We had already made plans in Canton yesterday morning, so we were not able to join. There was a teachers forum, an education forum, and we really enjoyed ourselves there. And it was wonderful being able to speak about education. So let's, when we speak about women's rights, I'm just going to dive right into it. And if you have any questions, please feel free on the right-hand side of your screen. I believe it's on the right-hand side. If you're on your phone, I think it's at the bottom. Ask anything you would like when it comes to women's issues and women's rights, because that's what we're going to talk about today, because this is a special edition. If you have any other questions, feel free to post them, and we'll speak about those next Friday when we do our regular scheduled Facebook AskJeffrey Live. Okay, so let's see, Carrie. So there were no women in Canton. No, there were women in Canton. We were just at the we were all at the teachers forum. Education forum, excuse me, and it was all about education. So they were there, and so it was wonderful to speak with them yesterday. I don't believe they actually had a march in Canton that I was aware of. We had asked around, and no one knew anything about a march in Canton. So we weren't able to participate in that. But the education forum really was an incredible experience, and they had some incredible questions. So, Carrie, I appreciate you asking that question. But most of the crowd, I will say, even though we do have male educators, most of the crowd were women. So that was great. So in a way, you were with women. Yes, actually, I was. Yes, and we do want a better treatment of teachers and educators. And, it was, I'll speak more about education when we have our Friday AskJeffrey Live about what happened at that forum. But it was just a quick little Cliff Note version. It was actually so wonderful to hear what their concerns were and what their questions were about how to take education, which is struggling right now, and lift it to the level that teachers and students across Texas actually deserve. So that was actually incredible. But I'll speak more about that on Friday when we do our wrap up of where we've been this week. So again, thank you, Carrie. Let's see. And Liz, what are your plans for education? Again, I'll speak more to that on Friday, but I do appreciate your question, Liz. And I do have staff that writes down all these questions as we go along. So we will discuss it more on Friday. So thank you very, very much. And everyone that has joined in, thank you for joining in. Let's see. Whit is in the house. What happens in Texas? I do want to give a shout out to y'all. If you log on to what's happening in Texas this coming Saturday, which coincides with my birthday, I'll be 50 years old. They are having a candidate forum in Austin. I encourage everyone to log on to what's happening in Texas and sign up for it and get involved. I plan to be there, and I'm going to bring cake. If I have to bring my own cake, I will. I love cake, just so y'all know. So let's see. I am looking at questions. Hoping you come to East Texas, Tyler. Yes, we actually are coming to Tyler on Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, right? Yes, like in 2 days, we'll be in Tyler. If you go to jeffreyfortexas.com, you can look that up and exactly where we'll be. I don't have that in front of me. Oh, yes, I do. I suddenly do have it in front of me. It's with the Smith County Democratic Club at 6 p.m. at the Tyler Area Chamber of Commerce, which is located on Broadway Avenue in Tyler. So we will be in Tyler on Tuesday. So thank you for mentioning that. And let's see. Howard, legalizing medical and recreational marijuana and use the profits to fund their educational system and other programs. Yes, I do believe. We've covered that before in other Ask Jeffrey Live, but Howard, you may not have been a part of that conversation. But yes, I do believe we need to legalize medical and recreational marijuana, and the funds need to be directed to our educational system so that we can find other avenue streams in which to properly fund education. So yes, and it just needs to be regulated just like we regulate alcohol. So thank you, Howard, for that. Let's see. Where can we get yard signs? Well, Randall, if you will email Field, F-I-E-L-D, or anyone, Field at jeffreyfortexas.com and say that you would like a sign, we'll get you a sign. Also, you can go online, and we have a store online, and you can actually order it from there, or you can just email Lewis and his email again is field at jeffreyfortexas.com, and remember the 4 is the number 4. All righty, let's see. So thank you for that, Randall. And anyone else that would like a sign or a bumper sticker or anything like that, you can go to our website. Looking forward to meeting you in January in Gonzales. Oh yes, on the 24th, we will be there. That's part of our next 9-day tour. So let's see. Happy upcoming 50th birthday. Yes, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. Remember the days when we thought 50 was old? Yeah, I'm thinking it's not anymore. I think it is very, very young. When will you be in DFW, Liz? We are in Dallas.
What part of DFW?
What part of DFW? Liz, if you'll let me know, because I know we have multiple events going on in Dallas. So, Liz, if you'll type in real quick where about in Dallas that you are, or in DFW you're speaking of, I can answer that more accordingly. Let's see, Jessica, what's your take on SB4? Jessica, thank you so much for that. Let's see. Okay. On SB4, they like to call that the sanctuary city. I believe that local entities need to be able to govern and decide how they're going to. I'm against it. Okay, there. I believe that local government and local entities and local police forces, which none of them are for They want to be able to protect their communities in the best way they see fit, and I agree with that. And all we have done with SB4 is scare individuals so that if a crime, let's say, is being committed, someone who is undocumented is not going to come out and say that they saw the crime, they witnessed the crime, because they're fearful that they're going to be deported. So it's a way, yet again, to cause fear and motivate a certain part of Greg Abbott's base and Dan Patrick's base, and that's all that is. So I'm against SB4, and I will actually advocate it. Let's see. I'm getting a lot of let's see. I want to stick to women's rights, women's issues for today. I'm getting a lot of other issues, and I truly appreciate all of you who have joined in. And I'm speaking with staff right now about how we can actually do more than one Ask Jeffrey Live during the week, and do it at a different time on a different day, so that other people who aren't available on Friday are actually able to join in and be a part of it. But also know that all of our videos, all of our Ask Jeffrey Lives are actually posted and saved on our Facebook. So, and I believe on YouTube as well. So, alrighty. Howard, oh, okay. Yes. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to answer your question, Howard. Let's see. Oh, Liz, you're in Garland. We will be in that area.
We have an event on the 26th or 29th in Collin County.
Of January?
Yes.
On the 26th? No, that's Friday.
29th.
29th. Okay. Liz, we have Garland. He's going to look it up and make sure, but I believe it's the 29th.
We're in Collin County on the 29th.
Oh, we're in Collin County on the 29th. Yeah. Excuse me. I know there's something in Garland that's happening. It may be the first part of February. Lewis is checking that. But understand he's also driving, so. Carrie, how about Texas treatment of Planned Parenthood, Texas? We defunded Planned Parenthood on the hopes that Planned Parenthood was providing reproductive services such as abortion to women. The Hyde Act prohibits federal and state money from being used to provide abortion to a woman. So, but that's why we defunded it on this fear. We need to go back and refund Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has the infrastructure, they have the education, they have the knowledge, they have the access. When we defunded Planned Parenthood, we now have individuals who don't have proper access to reproductive care. They don't have access to sex education. They don't have access to medication. They don't have access to treatment. And the alternative that the state set up, and I apologize, y'all, I just drew a blank. It's called like the Women's Health Initiative, it's not working. It's not working at all because there are less locations. Women in rural areas are having to drive up to 100 to 125 miles one way just to receive that treatment or the services that they need. And that's unacceptable. And, individuals who... Okay, I think I'm back now. Sorry, my screen timed out on me. Individuals who are in the low income, middle income that were using Planned Parenthood usually don't have the means in which to take a day off from work to go and receive these services, and to drive 100 miles. So we need to refund Planned Parenthood. That's what I'm going to advocate for. That's what I'm going to use the bully pulpit for, because we are going to make it happen. Let's see. Seth, Texas has the highest rate of infant deaths in the civilized world. I know you can't do anything about it now, but it's an issue for women. Yes. Jess, thank you so much for logging on. We have the highest rate of maternal mortality, and when you defund and when you don't give access to individuals who need that access, well, of course, things are going to go to hell in a handbasket, and that's what's happened. Now, your current governor decided to put a commission together to figure out why this was happening. Well, when women don't have proper access to the care they need, well, of course it's going to get out of whack. Provide the care that women need, provide the treatment, provide the resources, and provide the education. And then things will be better because they have that access. And when they took access away, we have higher teen pregnancy, we have higher infant deaths, we have higher maternal mortality. This can be corrected by refunding, and that's refunding Planned Parenthood. So, Chess, thank you very much for that. And I can't do anything about it now, but in 2019, in January 2019, once I take office, we will start doing something about it. So, Chess, thank you. The state currently uses Isabel. The state currently uses millions of taxpayer dollars earmarked to help families in need to fund anti-abortion clinics, and she used quotes, that provide no actual health care. How would you address this as governor? We do not need to be using millions of taxpayer dollars to help families to fund an anti-abortion clinic. I understand, and I do believe that women need to be given all the information out there. They need to be given information on adoption. They need to be given information on if they decide they want to have an abortion. But here's the thing. Any clinic that is funded by the state needs to give all options. And then the woman needs to decide what her decision is the final decision. No one needs to make that decision for her, nor does anyone need to force her to make a decision that she doesn't want to make. So I believe that we can offer all the choices so that they're educated, so that they know what all of their choices are. But at the same time, at the end of the day, the woman makes the final decision. And, but yes, I do believe that we need to at least give. But at the same time that you give them all the information, the woman makes the decision. End of story. Only 3% of Planned Parenthood services is abortion related, and never was federal funds used for those purposes. Carrie, yes, that is very accurate. And because the Hyde Act prohibits the use of taxpayer dollars for abortion. So it was defunded because it's just another way to control women. And that's all it was. For a bunch of men to control women, for a bunch of men in the legislature to control women, and that is wrong. And we need to ensure that when laws are put in place, that it's not men-only panels making the decision about women. And it is. Currently, the way it is, men are deciding what women should and should not do with their body. And that is wrong, and that is not going to happen under my administration. Women have a seat at the table. And they need to be the ones to make the decision. I can't stress that enough, how passionate I am that a woman makes the decision about her body. No one is telling a man what to do with his, so why are we trying to tell women? So think about that. All righty. Thank y'all very much. Let's see. All I ask is for all people who showed up to protest yesterday to also show up at the polling places in March and November. Simon, thank you very is it Simon or Simone? I'm sorry, I can't. Simon. Okay, thank you. He was reading it to me off his phone, and it's very small print. You know, sorry about that. Simon, thank you. And yes, if you showed up yesterday to march, or you were not able to show up yesterday to march, because I know the flu right now is really, really bad. I heard from a lot of women that wanted to go, but because of illness or because someone in the family was ill, they were not able to march. But Simon, I agree. If you marched yesterday, on March 6th, you marched to the polls and march in droves and vote in a manner that government gets out of making the decisions for women, because that cannot continue. It cannot continue. And I know that many people base it on their religious ideology. They base it on their belief system. And I get that and I understand that. But at the same time, when it comes to religion, we all need to remember that it is your religion, not mine. Not the woman sitting next to me, not anyone sitting next to me. Religion is a personal journey, and I get that and I understand that. But it is your personal journey, and going out. Okay, here we are. I'm sorry. I keep fading in and out, so hopefully y'all are still with me. But we need to understand that women make the decision about their body based on their belief system. Thank you. What's your take on the current situation with HHS? Several children's insurance benefits have been cut out. Programs for special needs cut. Disabled citizens, low-income citizens on disability. What are some ideas to fix the problem? Well, first of all, we need to fund it. That is the biggest thing. We keep defunding these items. We keep turning to, unfortunately, the federal government also keeps defunding these programs. Because a lot of the money that HHS, on the state level, what we need to do is actually fund them. Y'all, we have a $120 billion budget every year. And instead of spending it on the services that we need, what we need to actually do is stop passing laws that we have to go to court to defend because they're unconstitutional. We need to scrub our budget so that we're not sending state legislatures to conferences where basically nothing's getting done. That they're going and they're spending more on alcohol and having a good time than not. We have to be lean with our budget. The revenue from the state is your money, and the state is the keeper of that money, and we should be using that money to ensure that each of you receive a return on your investment. And that is to make sure that our children are taken care of, whether it's education or insurance. Those who need help are actually taken care of, the disabled, those children with special needs. That's what the money should be used for. It should be used for infrastructure, real infrastructure. It should be used for us coming up with a way for universal health care. It should be used for making sure that everyone has access. Everyone keeps talking about building this wall, okay? And what I like to say is government is not here and should not exist in which to build walls. We're here to tear them down. And we're here to make things accessible. We're here to make lives better. That's why you pay taxes. And currently right now, we have a budget that is blown up, that we need to make cuts. As far as the fat, we have a lot of fat in our budget. Cut the fat, and then use the money that y'all are investing, so that, pardon me, so that you receive your return on investment. So, Jessica, thank you for that question. I agree with you on that. Abortion is a very personal matter and should not be decided by the government. Simon, yes, I agree. It is a very personal matter. It is a very difficult decision. I know, as I have traveled the state, the number of women who have come up to me either before or after a rally, because they know how passionate I am about women's rights. Excuse me. And oh, thank you. And they have shared with me that, they had to make that decision, that it was not an easy decision. But it was one they had to make for themselves. And, and it is a very personal decision. And, even the women that I've spoken with, that they made that decision 20, even 30 years ago, it still affects them today. It still is a very personal part of who they are. And, it's not an easy decision. They know it was the best decision for them at the time. But sometimes, even when we make a personal decision that is the best one for us and for the situation that we're in, that doesn't make it any easier. So I just believe that at the end of the day, let's give women the resources they need so that they can make this decision. And also, if they need what I call aftercare, we need to make sure that we are also providing that for them as well. So thank you, Simon, for that. Let's see, Isabel. Several years ago, Colorado started a program that provided teens with long-acting reversible contraception. Their teen birth rate fell 40% and their teen abortion rate fell 42%. Would you advocate for a similar program in Texas, which has high teen pregnancy and repeat teen pregnancy rates? And yes, and actually, we started looking at that. My policy team actually was looking into that program because it's an excellent program, and because they had such great results with it, that it was beneficial to everyone involved. So yes, we are actually already looking into that program, how they instituted that program, how they've made it work, and how it's been successful, so that we can bring that here to Texas. So yes, Isabel, thank you for bringing that up. And our policy team is already looking into that program, which yes, I believe it was Colorado. So yes, we are looking into that because it is a successful program, and it's being proactive rather than being reactive. It's taking care of things on the front end of an issue rather than taking care of things on the back side of an issue. So thank you, Isabel, for that as well. Let's see. Oh my, I'm sorry. I need to scroll down. Let's see. Again, I want to thank everyone that has tuned in. And let's see. Liz, when I was 19, I found out I was pregnant, and I chose adoption because my family would not have supported anything else. Let's skip the long story, but can we have some kind of support for birth mothers? There was nothing after my baby was gone. Yes, that's what when I just spoke a few minutes ago about aftercare, what I call aftercare. When a woman makes a decision to either go through the full pregnancy and go through adoption, or makes a decision to terminate the pregnancy, we need to have aftercare for women across the board, no matter what decision they make, because it is an emotional time, no matter what the decision is. And so if we have the aftercare for them, so that they have access to it, and I'm not just talking about 30 days, I'm talking about, let's have aftercare for women, for the length that they need, so that they can talk through it, they can work through it emotionally and mentally and physically. And yes, Liz, thank you very much for that. When I said aftercare, I was actually speaking about aftercare, no matter what the choice was. And even for women who decide to go ahead and have the baby and keep the baby, let's make sure we have the aftercare and the programs in place for them as well. So, Beck, it's good to see you. Justin, and you as well. So thank y'all for joining in. I also wanted to speak about, when we speak about women's rights, one of the other things that I advocate for, that I will get on my bully pulpit. I keep talking about my bully pulpit because if y'all are tired of hearing from me now, wait till I'm governor. I'm not one that's going to hide in my office or hide in the mansion. You're going to hear from me all the time. And because I work at the pleasure, when I'm governor, I work at the pleasure of you, the citizens of Texas. And so I will always speak with you. And if I make a misstep and y'all are angry, I will still show up because I need to know that. And so we can figure out how to correct it if there is, you have a right to your government and I represent you. And so I will show up anywhere and speak with you and have Facebook Live, even when I'm governor. I will have town hall meetings. I know there are a lot of Republicans right now who are running scared and they're not showing up to town hall meetings, and not just in Texas, but across the United States. No one is perfect. And my idea is I'm not perfect, so I'm going to be reaching out to you during my entire tenure as your governor to see what we can do and what we can do better. And so that's my promise. And you can ask anyone who knows me personally. I stick to my promises. So I even told someone last night at an event, I was like, y'all are going to get so tired of hearing from me. You're going to say, oh, Lord, Jeffrey's back. So I'm not going anywhere. So thank you. Carrie, you are competing with 8 other Democratic candidates for the March 6th primary. What are your comprehensive differences between your platform and your opponents, particularly Valdez and White, on Texas women's issues? Carrie, my issues I have spoken about, and I've been speaking about since last July. And that's a very good question, Carrie. Here's my issue, especially when it comes to Valdez and White. I don't know what the differences are because they haven't come out with anything. I mean, you go to Sheriff Valdez's website and there's nothing there. I've heard her speak. She's not covered anything yet. And the same with Andrew White. I mean, I know that there's some abortion. I'm sorry. He's got to answer that. I'm a little confused on where he stands. He does say that Roe v. Wade is the law of the land. But I guess my biggest concern is, where does he stand if it wasn't, or if it was being threatened? Because he personally doesn't believe in it. He is personally pro-life. But what if someone was trying to pass a bill that was trying to do away with Roe v. Wade? Where would he come down on that issue? Is he going to fight for it, or is he going to fight against it? So I don't know. And that's the thing. I've been out here since July. Everyone knows where we stand. And so I don't know how to, not just with women's rights or women's issues, but on any issues. I don't know where they stand. So I don't know how to answer the where do we differ. I can tell you where I stand because I'm out there. And I mean, we were in Loving County. There are 4 Democrats in Loving County, 4. And we went to Loving County because those 4 individuals need to be heard. So, yes, Carrie, I would love to answer that, because then you could have a clearer picture, and all Texans could have a clearer picture on how to decide who to vote for. But I don't know. I know where my issues are, and I know I'm vocal about where my policies will be, what I'm advocating for, where I stand personally. But it's very hard for me to compare myself to other candidates when I don't know where they stand. And there's a communication issue, but I'll be honest with you, it's not on my side. So, Carrie, I would love to answer your question. If they ever come out with something, then I'll be able to answer that question for you. So, but I do apologize, I can't give you more than that. Kimberly, would you support expanding the Medicaid sliding scale buy-in beyond families of children with disabilities? Oh, yes. I support that. We're actually coming out with our policy on that. I mean, I've been speaking about it, but putting it in writing, that actually comes out, I believe, next week. Yes, it's next week. It was after my birthday. We're actually just finishing up the policy now, but yes, I do believe that we need to expand the Medicaid sliding scale buy-in. And Kimberly, thank you for asking that question. I truly appreciate it. So, Armani asked, Valdez refuses to release her policies. You can't defend what you have against an empty void. Well, okay, Armani put it a little differently than I did, but yes, basically, I can't defend my policies against, a void. So thank you, Armani, for putting it in what I took 2 minutes to say and putting it in 6 words. So I appreciate you, Armani. Jessica, what is your take on legalization of medical marijuana? I covered that earlier. Just so you know that medical marijuana and recreational marijuana need to be legalized. Medical, to me, should have been legalized a long time ago. And, it's between the doctor and the patient on what is best for them. I believe that the pills that we are putting down people's throats are more harmful than if they were to use medical marijuana in some of these treatments. So, and then when it comes to recreational, we need to regulate it just like we regulate alcohol, and that's a a revenue generating source, and it needs to go towards education. So thank you, Jessica, for that. Armando, as governor, how will you make sure that your state legislator is working on effective bills and ensuring that representatives and senators from both parties are working as a cohesive legislature? Armando, thank you very much for your question. And the governor sets the agenda. He sets the mood and the tone. And, as a mediator with the Department of Labor, for those of you who don't know, I was actually a mediator with the Department of Labor, and that's where you bring in 2 parties that don't agree. And you have to come to some type of agreement. And being a mediator is, I'll be honest with you, at times it's very difficult because some people are just hell-bent. I can't think of another word right now. They're just hell-bent on their right, or they want what they want. And you have to find common ground. As a mediator, you find common ground first. And then what you do is you then build from that common ground until you come to a resolution. And, right now what we have from our governor is someone that makes a list of the enemies, a list of people that don't agree with him. And that's not being a leader. What you have to do is, as governor, I have to understand that all these state senators and reps were elected. They represent their constituents, and they have a place at the table, and they need to be heard. And we need to sit down, and rather than have fights down at the legislature, which they had one, I believe it was during the special session. It may have been during the regular session last year, but at one of the sessions they had one of the 2 that they had last year, there was actually a brawl down in the legislature floor. And that's because there's no leadership coming from the governor's office to where we can come together and respectfully disagree, and then respectfully listen to one another and talk through our issues and make sure that the issues that we're speaking about are the ones that really affect Texans, rather than the bathroom bill or which tree we can cut down, or mandating $1,000 raise for teachers, but the state couldn't afford it, so they were going to make the local districts do it. Though I do believe teachers need a pay raise, don't get me wrong. But if the state's going to say teachers need a raise of so-and-so amount, then the state better come up with how to pay for it, not just make someone else pay for it. And that's what they've been doing for years. They mandate things all the time and then tell other people to pay for it. So that's not how you govern as well. And that's another issue we have to look at. But to answer your question, Armando, and I appreciate the question, my experience as a high level within the Department of Labor mediator, that's what I'm going to rely on. That's what I can rely on. I was a very successful mediator, and that's what it's going to take, is someone that actually listens, knows when to speak, knows when to interject, and how to make sure that what we're speaking about is actually an issue that faces Texans, not made up issues to rile up a base. So thank you, Armando. Simon, because of the large number of candidates, it's very important for you to articulate the top 3 issues that you will address. It helps determine who to vote for next month. 1, education. And Simon, thank you for that question. I do like to say, before I name my top 3, I will tell you that all the issues on my page, to me, are important. And all the policies that we've come up with, to me, they all have equal bearing, and they all need to be addressed. It's what I call multitasking, and as someone that owns 5 very diverse businesses, I have to all the time multitask. And so everything that I'm looking at on my policy page and my issues page on my website, they will all be addressed. But if you're looking for the top 3, it's education, it's healthcare, pardon me, and it's women's rights. Those are my top 3. And we addressed education last Sunday, and I invite everyone to tune in to our special edition where we discuss education last Sunday. And today we're discussing women's rights, and next week we're going to be discussing healthcare. And so, because those are my top 3, however, that doesn't mean I'm going to forget about all the other items that I've spoken about on the campaign trail, as well as on my website. So, Simon, thank you very much for that. And let's see, Beck, how will you help the Medicaid population to ensure that they have the coverage they need to get the care they need? Well, first of all, Medicaid expansion money, which was Rick Perry was the first governor, and then Abbott continued it. They said, don't send it to us. We left I think they estimated it to be about 1.8 million individuals without access to health care by not accepting the Medicaid expansion money. That'll be the second phone call I make, or the second letter, or whatever it may be, to tell the federal government to send us our Medicaid expansion money. Everyone needs to understand that Medicaid expansion money is our money. Texas paid for it. We put the money in it. By not accepting it, we're just leaving it to the feds. No, it's our money. So what we can do to make sure they have coverage is to actually take the money that's been offered to us. And, why in the world would anyone not use Medicaid expansion money? Oh, wait, I know why. Because it had on it that Obama was the one that initiated it. And Republicans weren't going to do anything that had Obama's handprint on it. So let's leave. Their thought was, it's okay if we leave 1.8 million people without access to health care. That's okay. No, it's not okay. It is not okay. So that'll be the second phone call that I make And for those of you who are wondering, the first phone call is going to be to my aunt in Maine, my Auntie Lane, to let her know that I'm calling her from the governor's office. I promised her she would be my first phone call. Sorry, it's a personal thing. It'll be a quick phone call though, so I can get right to work. Jessica, what's your take on low wages and rising costs of living? There are people that work full-time in corporations like Walmart that are dependent on community service like food stamps. Yep, corporate welfare. Yet these corporations continue getting tax cuts but don't even pay enough for a person to support themselves, let alone health care. That is correct. I call it corporate welfare. There are, in other states, I'm not sure, I haven't found any situations in Texas where this has happened, but there are some large corporations that when they're during the hiring process, or at some point when someone asks about healthcare, when an employee asks about healthcare, they actually give them the forms for state coverage. So corporations are getting large tax cuts and then not offering healthcare to their employees. You know, I have 5 small businesses. I offer healthcare, and I don't make near what someone like Walmart makes. But I always make sure that my employees make at least $15 an hour or more. And because I know that's a livable wage. And if we don't, and that's what we need to do, is we need to look at the livable wage. We need to increase the livable wage. I am a supporter of taking it up, bringing up the livable wage. What we need to do is, we are such a large state that I honestly believe that we have to also make sure that we don't kick the butts of some small businesses, especially in the smaller rural areas. So let's decide and let's do the study. It's really already out there on what a livable wage is in Austin, Dallas, the major cities. But what is a livable wage in a smaller town, a smaller rural area? It may not be $15. It may be $12. So, and I'm not saying it is $12 or it is $15. But what if we do the study and we find out that a livable wage in Austin is $16.50? Well, then it needs to be $16.50. So let's get out there. Let's do the study. Let's find out what the minimum wage is, and then the livable wage is in these areas, and then pass the law to make sure that that individuals are not having to work pardon me, excessive amount of like 2 or 3 jobs at a time in order to make ends meet. Because when a parent has to work 2 jobs even in order to make ends meet, that is less time that they're at home with their family. It is less time with their children who are growing up, who are in their developmental stages of life. And we need to encourage people to be home. And it always amazes me that the Republicans like to tout themselves as, the party of the family. Yet they do everything they can to ensure that we don't promote family. When someone can work a 40-hour job and make a livable wage and be home in the evenings, be home with their family, be home to ensure their kids are doing their homework, to ensure that they're spending that quality time with their family, that's when you're family friendly. That's when you care about a family. You can't be a family when you're telling someone, I need you to work 16 hours a day. No, it's not possible. And how can you tout yourself as the party of the family, which is what the Republicans do, when you're not supporting them, when you're not helping them, when you're putting up walls for them? And in all honesty, that just angers the living you-know-what out of me, because they're selling the world a load of crap is what they're doing. And so I believe that we need to have a livable wage. As far as when it comes to healthcare, we need to also then turn around and offer a single payer program so that every Texan is covered. And so that's how you take care of healthcare as well. So Jessica, thank you for that. I know that answer was a little long, but it gets under my skin when someone touts that they're family friendly or they're the party of the family, and they do everything to tear families apart. So it just angers me. Simon, good to hear that you embrace Bernie's call for the yes, and I do. So Simon, I do, and we have to do it. We have to do it, and we just need to make sure that we don't put small businesses out of business by doing that. But there are ways around it. There are ways to do it, and I believe that by working and working with small business, that we can actually do it. Large corporations, they can do it. Kara says, can pay equality be addressed at the state level? It sure can. If I'm not mistaken, there was a law that they were trying to pass, and of course it died. And yes, we need to actually pass a law that says basically equal pay for equal work. If two people are doing a job, they should be the same job, then they should be paid the same. I don't care what their gender is. I don't care what their sexual orientation is. I don't care what their ethnicity is, what their race is. It doesn't matter. If two people are doing the same job, you pay them the same. And, this whole societal acceptance of women being paid less to do the same job, it's crap. And yeah, I know I'm kind of getting free with my words today. But it is. It's crap. And so we need to pass laws to ensure that anyone that is doing the same job as the person beside them is receiving equal pay and equal benefits. That goes along with equal benefits as well. Because what I don't want to get into is, fine, we'll pay them equally, but we're going to offer a better benefit package over here to this other person than we are to this person. When it comes to bonuses, when it comes to health care that they may offer them, or time off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the benefit portion of an employment package needs to also be the same, not just the pay. So Kara, thank you for that. And yes, we can address that at the state level, and we will be addressing that at the state level. How do you view paid maternity leave? Women are having to go to work right after having a baby. Liz, thank you for that question. And I believe that we need to pay for maternity leave. And I know that it is an additional cost for a business. But as a business owner, I can tell you that it's the right thing to do. Because when an employee of mine has a baby, starts her family, or it's child number 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be, I want them to be home to start that nurturing process. That has to happen. And so yes, I do believe that a woman should be paid for maternity leave. In the cases where, let's say, the woman can't for some reason, I also believe that the father should then be paid maternity leave if that's what the family decides, that the father is going to stay home, because sometimes they want to do that. Then the father can stay home. So yes, I agree that maternity leave should be paid for. So I guess I could just answer it like that. Yes, Liz, pay them. It is healthier for the baby. It is healthier for a family unit. It's the bonding that happens in the very beginning of life, and I do support that. And because I am about family. So thank you, Liz. Alrighty, we are actually at the 5-minute mark. Wow, okay. Someone just told me this. Let's see. Let's see. Gail, that's an interesting approach. about livable wage, right? It also incentivizes businesses to relocate to grow communities. That's the other side of it. So, Gail, thank you for pointing that out. Deborah, I'm so excited to finally got to meet you in person. Oh, Deborah, yes, it was wonderful to meet you as well. I'm sorry, to meet you at WIT. I'm sorry, we haven't met yet. Sorry. In Austin, I will be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Hardy, thank you for joining us just now. But I want to let you know, Fridays from 12 to 1, I'm sorry, y'all, Central Standard Time, we do Ask Jeffrey Live, where we cover any topic you want to cover. I want to thank you for joining us today on discussing women's rights. All of our policies, unlike any other candidate out there, all of our policies and solutions are on our website, jeffreyfortexas.com. And if there's something that you find that's not there, you can go to Ask Jeffrey on our website and actually write in a comment or write in a question, send that to us, and we will get right on it. We are a very responsive campaign. I have wonderful staff. They are working their what's off. And a shout out to all my staff. A shout out to Lewis over here to my left. He's actually been driving all this whole time. And he's actually been driving me all around the state of Texas. So a shout out to Lewis over here. And I want to thank all of you for actually tuning in today and taking an active role. I said this the other night in Lubbock when I gave a speech in Lubbock. It has been exciting to see the number of individuals who are really engaged in 2018, who are getting out there, who are knocking on doors, who are phone banking, pardon me, who are doing their research to find out who represents them. They're doing their research to find out who really has the passion and the courage and the skill set to actually get the job done as your next governor. And it's amazing because I think before the whole concept has been the party just anointed someone. And this time around, people are actually engaged and saying, you know what, there are 9 candidates for the Democratic nomination. We're going to log on and we're going to find out everything we can about these individuals to see who best represents us. And we're not going to allow certain party members or certain individuals or the media even to dictate who we're going to vote for. That is your vote. That is your voice. It's not the media's voice. It's not the party's voice. It's your voice. And so as we have traveled and spoken with people across the state, because believe me, we don't fly anywhere. We drive. We stop in cafes. We stop in town squares. We stop at gas stations. Lewis pumps the gas and I go into the gas station and I'll talk to anyone. But that's what we have to do because every single Texan matters. Don't let anyone control your vote. You do your research. And that's what's been so exciting about this entire journey that we're on. And we have no plans to stop anytime soon. We are going to continue this through March 6th. We know we're going to win the primary. We have no doubt we're going to win the primary. And we're going to keep going all the way to November 6th. We have a plan. And that's one really important question you need to ask when you speak with candidates. What is your plan? What is your path to victory? I don't want to just get it to where on November 6th, we lose by 2 points. I don't want to just be a less of a loser, because, we lost by 2 points rather than 20 from 4 years ago. We have a plan. Our campaign has a plan for a path to victory. And that's what you need to be asking every single candidate. What is your plan? What is your active plan to get there. And we have it. We're excited about it. We aren't going anywhere. And I cannot wait to get out there and meet every single one of you. We are now at the 1 hour mark, so I need to log off. I want to say thank you for joining in. I look forward to seeing all of you out on the campaign trail. And I also look forward to speaking with you next Friday from 12 to 1 on our regular Ask Jeffrey Live. Y'all have a great Sunday and take care of yourselves and be safe. God bless all of you, and God bless Texas. Bye.